Hey also, this is the Broken Oath event. This is an Earth Slayer event and Arcane Killer. So I have only made up 3 teams. I don't have too many exciting Earth Slayer cards, so I've made up a Commander team, plus my usual Water Slayer team. That seems to work in pretty much every single event. This team doesn't do too much damage, but it was useful for the guild bosses, and up until around Radiant. I'll talk through it anyway. To start with, we have Gods of Ire. Increases Earth Slayer damage by 200% for 1 turn. Plus it is an Arcane Killer card, matching the current killer skill of the event. Metaverse Masters. This gives 150% to any card. Earthen Drakes. This is the hitting card. Increases self-damage by 150% for 2 turns. On ambush, becomes immune to enemy attacks for 1 turn. Prospectors of Prosperity. Another ambush card. Increases Earth Slayer attack by 2000% on ambush. Otherwise, it's only 200%, which doesn't really do a lot. Then Seabound Wayfarers. This is mainly used to convert the Dark Gems to Earth. Doesn't really have much of an Earth Slayer boost, so I could replace that with something else, I guess. So one idea could be to replace Earthen Drakes with the event Ultimate form, since that has a conversion skill on it. Then you can get rid of Seabound Wayfarers as well, replace that with something else, maybe something like the Jailers, since it's an Arcane Killer event, but I haven't really tested out too much as of yet. For the relics, there's 2 Arcane Killer relics at the end to break all the shields. Then it's just my best 3 Earth Slayer relics. For the other relics, you can see here. There we go. Just scroll through these quickly. They're not overly exciting. Here's the first of the Arcane relics. Then the second one is here. There we go. I do need both of the relics just because Metaverse Masters is on the team. Otherwise, the end relic would only break the 7 shields. Anyway, here's the generic Water Slayer team I tend to use for most Slayer events. Starting with Holiday Saints. That gives a 500% damage buff to any water card. Then Metaverse Masters again. That's a 150% damage buff. Both used to boost up Sovereigns of the Dance. This converts and is very similar to the event Earth Ultimate form, except the boost on this is slightly lower. This is 300%. The event Ultimate form is 325% in Earth. Then Hometown Heroes, with a decent Water Slayer damage increase, 175%. Then High Performance Unit Area, used to get supercharged up. Boosts up Immortal Killer attack, boosting up Sovereigns of the Dance even further. That's just a standard team that I use for pretty much every Slayer event. Then for the relics, doesn't really matter if I use off-colour relics on this team, which is why I have this Arcane relic at the start. Here's a Water Arcane relic as well. Then just a couple of my best Water Slayer relics. Then at the end, there's Cater's Bow, useful for that slight percentage increase to attack that it has. So moving on to the final team. Originally, this was going to be used for the Showdown bosses, but they seem to have removed the ability to use the Commander gems there, so this doesn't really do too much damage to them, unfortunately. In previous events, Showdown bosses would also spawn Commander gems, so you could use a Commander team there. Anyway, this is what the team looks like. Only Executioners. This gives a decent increase to Earth Commander damage, 235%, plus has a revive. Colossals of Corellis. This is 200% to the next Earth Commander that uses their battle skill. Brothers in Banditry. This increases self-damage. Quite an old card, but 300% increased damage is still pretty decent. Then an Arcane Killer card here. Another old one, but still a decent Earth Commander card. 80% here, plus the passive for another 50%. Then finally, Potent Pathfinders with that nice 225%. For the relics, here's the first one, just an old noble relic. Second one here, a chaotic relic. Just my best relics, basically, that are Earth Commander. This should be one of the arcane relics to help break the shields. Then another one at the end to finish breaking that last shield. So there we go, that's the teams I have available for this event. Slayer is not something I really focus too much on, but hopefully I'll be able to get somewhere with these teams. So let's get on with the actual event. Here we go. Alright, so here's the actual event. My main focus for this event will be the Slayer Showdown bosses, since my teams are not especially exciting. I do have an Umbral boss up. I don't really want the prismatic bosses, but I will be forced to prestige at some point anyway. So I'll try the Earth Slayer team you can see here first. It's not especially exciting, but it can take down Radiant bosses. Umbrals it struggles on, then after that I can hit it with my Water Slayer team. That seems to do the damage on pretty much every event. It won't do much on Prismatic, but it should be enough to get through this Umbral. Alright, here we go. So, a very straightforward left to right team. After the first attack though, the cards have used their ambush skills, so it's not going to be quite as effective. I think left to right is the best way to use this deck though, and then just match the two highest power gems. That's not the best grid if I'm being honest, nothing loose from the main match, so 13.6Q, sort of minimal damage hit. I'll try one more attack just to show you what I mean about the ambush skills. This is a team made out of pretty old Earth Slayer cards. I don't have anything especially modern since my main focus on this game is Commander. I don't think I'll be able to get Metaverse Masters going again. I can try, but I think it's going to be just not available, yeah. Unless there's a few dark gems here. No, let's just try without. It won't be that effective, of course, but we can try anyway. See how much damage it does after the first turn. Yeah, only 2.2Q, so this would be the sort of team I would use for killing guild bosses and maybe hitting Inferno Radiant bosses. The Water Slayer team should be more effective, but it's still not going to do much to the Prismatic bosses. The Earth Commander team you can see here will be used on the Showdown bosses. I will need to play around with the relics since the shields increase on those as they level up. Alright, here we go. This doesn't really matter too much in all honesty. The event for me is going to be Showdown bosses and guild bosses pretty much. As long as this can do reasonable sort of damage, that's probably good enough for me. It will defeat the Umbral. It will take a few hits though. This is a pretty much standard team when I don't have a matching affinity deck for the event. Normally does solid damage, but never spectacular damage. Well, of course, unless the enemies are fire, in which case it's going to do good damage there, but obviously the enemies are not fire here. That's quite a good grid though, I think. One loose at the top. This might do 80, 90Q, let's see. Yeah, that's a pretty accurate guess actually. Then this team can be used more than once as well. Just need to get Iria going. It's hitting me with Zombie, which shouldn't be too much of a problem since Iria will remove that. I'll just hit it once more, then quit out of the battle. You have a rough idea of what sort of damage this team can do. There we go. Hopefully a few power gems loose from the main match, but we will see. That's quite good. They should all crush together here then. Something loose? Let's see. Yeah, 2 loose, so that should do about 110Q, I think. Oh no, not quite. 100.9. That's still not bad. Good enough for the Umbrals anyway. So there we go. That gives you an idea of what those two teams could do. Neither of them are especially amazing, but good enough for what I need for the event. All right, now it's time to have a look at the Slayer Showdown feature. As I mentioned, this will be where I spend most of the event playing. I will just be focusing on guild bosses and the Slayer Showdown bosses pretty much. So there's the first Slayer Showdown boss. The main reason I'm going to be focusing on these is because they work with my Earth Commander team. I will show you what I mean. So if it's the same as before, Commander Gems should spawn on the grid with this team. Let's see. Oh no. Oh no, it's been changed, I think. Normally you get Commander Gems. Oh, that's a bit disappointing. I'm going to have to use my Water Slayer team for this. Yeah, I was expecting Commander Gems to spawn on the grid, but doesn't seem like they do anymore. Well, that's disappointing. You get another key when you defeat the boss. There's no more bosses? This has been changed. Oh, there we go. It has spawned eventually. I was wondering what on earth was going on there. So what I'll do is defeat this one, then basically lock it, so to speak. So I did skip ahead a few bosses. I'm now on level 4. I'm checking out the trophies basically just to see how much they increase by with each boss. At this low level, they're still not really worth anything if I'm being honest. So this has been adjusted from what it originally was. It's going to require a change of strategy, that's for sure. What you can do with these bosses is just quit out as the attack hits. Something like this. And it basically pauses the boss. You can see here the boss is defeated and another one won't spawn until I claim that. A very useful trick. Plus, I can gain an extra key now if I don't attack the boss until the other key has respawned. Alright, so there we go. That's the Slayer Showdown feature. Anyway, I'll just bring this up one more time just to go over to the leaderboards. Have a look at the top rewards. I'll scroll up really quickly. Well, there we go. I've scrolled to the top, but we appear to be having loading on the guilds. So I think I'll just click one of the chests to look at the rewards. That would be an easier way, I think. There we go. So that's what you get for first place then. Slowly scroll down to see all the other rewards. You get something for finishing outside of top 100. Yeah, just one of those shards. So you do need to try and finish in the top 100, ideally if you can. But there we go. That's that feature. Alright, let's start claiming these event rewards. Warden collection this time around with some Bastion shards, Wardens. There we go, let's claim all of this while I'm here. Season choice coins as well. Not a bad collection. There are worse ones. There are better ones. It's okay. Right. What Warden did I get? Well, that's actually a decent looking one. Well, maybe anyway. I'll have a look at that properly in a minute. Let's scroll through and see what the new Warden that I got. Well, not really new, but you know what I mean. Right. Let's wait for that to load. There we go. And scroll down. There it is. It looked decent. This is what... Oh, yeah. Weaken. That's actually probably one of the best free Wardens I've got from a Warden collection. That's not bad at all. There we go. Anyway, let's go back over here. Out of here. And over to the top players, and let's have a look at what it is this time around. Didn't do this in the last video, but I will this time around, as I sometimes forget. Rerix Terra's Knight. Okay, a Warden. Battle Skill Living Nightmare. That got my attention, as does the Relentless Mute. Oh, nice. Mute is probably the best defender skill in the game, so that could be a Warden that a lot of players use. So that's something to consider anyway, if you do get the Warden, which hopefully you will. Now let's claim the random 6-star hero. Scroll down, collect the support card, then upgrade it nice and quickly. There we go, done just like that. Let's collect this and collect the random 6-star hero. What am I going to get? Well, we will find out in a minute. Here we go. Okay, I remember that card. It's quite an old main hero, I believe. Not going to help me too much. Here's the ultimate form anyway. A nice hitting card. I had a look at it earlier. Increases self-damage by 325%. Has the upgrade as well. Creates the power gems plus converts. So it's got a lot of decent abilities on the card. Could be used with something like Metaverse Masters. You will need Earthslayer cards that boost up either damage or big increases to attack to go with this card, but it does look like a good one. Since it is a hitting card though, neither of the other two cards are really going to help you much on their own, so ideally try and get both of the cards if you can for this ultimate form, unless you just get lucky and get half, in which case I'd recommend getting the other half with season choice coins. Alright, I'm going to end the video at this point. I hope you found that interesting and helpful. I know my teams are not great, but hopefully I will manage to stay in Emperors. If not, it's not really a big deal. I'll just play in Kings and probably go back into Emperors in the next event. If you did enjoy this video, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing is always very much appreciated. I've included a previous video on the screen, plus a playlist. Plus you can also subscribe from here if you want to do so. And thanks for watching.